rotting the beams. Years in your pocket, but none in your dreams. Same tired eyes, same tired plans. A fire in your chest, but no place to land. Steps on a road that never bends. They smile when you lose, they wait for the end. Hope slips away, soft as the rain. The wheel keeps turning, but it don't change a thing. What if you want, but the path just folds? Speak your truth, but the air stays cold. They dig in deep, they won't feel the flame. You will never, never break that chain. Never break that chain. Lips full of salt, eyes full of gray. Don't reach too high, they always say. Your hands are young, your thoughts are wild. But time here runs like a fatherless child. The roots are thick, the roots are proud. They drink the sky, they choke the ground. You scream in waves, you break in vain. Still they whisper, keep things the same. Run if you want, but the path just folds. Speak your truth, but the air stays cold. They dig in deep, they won't feel the flame. You will never, never break that chain. Never break that chain. Born to move, built to stand. Freedom forged by working hands. Raise the flag, hold the line. We were made for this time. Got a strong spirit wide. We don't run, we don't hide. We are the stars of freedom, we carry the flame. We fight, we pray, we rise again. God bless the brave, God bless the land. We are the stars, we take a stand. Voices loud, hearts alive. Every stripe, every right. From the fields to city steel. We are truth, we are real. Bound by grace, built to last. We don't fear the storm we pass. We are the stars of freedom, we carry the flame. We fight, we pray, we rise again. God bless the brave, God bless the land. We are the stars, we take a stand.
The Freedom's Legacy Conference to celebrate America's 250th anniversary and renew the American spirit. It started right in Machias, where patriots banded together against a British Navy which was ordered to take their timber. Because of the local staunch resistance, the British began to refer to this area as the Hornet's Nest. You're invited to relive those moments with speakers like Bobby Charles, Robert Cross, and more. The Freedom's Legacy Conference, celebrating 250 years of American pride, kicks off January 31st of 2026. Doors open at 8 a.m., lunch is provided, but you have to bring your blazing American spirit. From darkness to light, from bondage to the greatest nation on earth. Join us to celebrate just how amazing it is to be an American.
Space, the final frontier. These are the stories of the USS Dorego and its continuing mission to boldly go where no Republican has gone before. Bring Milja and Shenbel back to Federation space alive. Godspeed, Captain Charles. Red alert! Take us out of warp and bring forward shields to max. We're approaching the Slaver Collective. The Romulan Democratos was detected here 2 hours ago. Captain, I'm detecting subspace distortions that could indicate a cloaked Romulan warbird is in the area. That's the smallest warbird I've ever seen. The Democratos is charging her forward disruptor banks. Let's give them the full Sunday breakfast. Don't let them fire first! Captain's log stardate 46155. The USS Dorego has captured Milja and Shenbel. They're accused of impersonating high-ranking Starfleet officers and then abusing that stolen authority to flood our colony worlds with Borg soldiers. They will stand trial in Federation court. It doesn't have to be like this, Sparky! You didn't have to betray the people!
I am the people!
Did you bring the pizza? Get her out of here, she'll see her day in court.
Bebop, it's just a truck.
I guess there was a reason why Grandpa didn't mind rolling the windows down.
Then I heard the voice of the Lord, saying, Whom shall I send? And who will go for us? And I said, Here am I. Send me.
Now approaching lunar sunrise, and for all the people back on Earth, the crew of Apollo 8 has a message that we would like to send to you. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, Let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and divided the light from the darkness.
The time has come. Believe in Maine. Your love is all we need. All we need to break through to our destiny. Our destiny.
Yes, we made it through another week. This is, in fact, a special edition. That's right. Hold on. It's a live stream. Calm down. It's just a live stream. Calm down, okay? I do have to introduce a very special guest, and to do it the right way, you got to turn on the right voice changer. Ladies and gentlemen, fresh from the front lines of making Shelley Pingree's worst nightmares come true is the legendary Colonel Ron Russell. Welcome aboard.
Thanks, Tom.
Happy to have you. Let me turn off the echo.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Oh, I said I'm happy to have you. Let me turn off the echo there. So we're back to normal.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
Yep. Oh, hey, just in time, too. We've got Maine public here counting down the last 3 minutes before Janet Mills' final, the last one, the very last state of the state. Looks like they're going live right now already. Just making sure that all the gears are turning before good old Jan takes the stage. This has been a long time coming. For a lot of us, we have been waiting a very long time for Jan's final state of the state. How about you, Ron? You've been waiting for it?
Yeah, just like everyone else. Yep.
Waiting around the corner for the good news that this is it. This is the last time. And I hear things are quite feisty. We've already had press conferences today declaring the governor to be a failure at what she's done. And apparently both houses will be convened at this time. So might get a little rowdy there in the gallery tonight.
Yeah, well, hopefully everyone will act like an adult.
Well, you know, I don't expect anybody to be throwing tomatoes or anything like that, but you know what? It's been a rough 8 years. I wouldn't expect them to hold off, you know?
Yeah, well,
The
sense of propriety is always in order.
The good news is though is that while this is the last one, it's looking like her Senate campaign is going down with the ship too. So this may be the last time we get to hear old Jan address the whole state. So
Well, that would not be a bad thing there for
no, there's one lady I never want to hear from again. You know, not even a Christmas card. It is nice of Maine Public though to make this available for everybody that we can be here. So make sure that you guys are subscribed to Maine Public as well. They do, of course, they are the Maine Public broadcast, and you're going to meet a lot of Fruit Loops over there. But they do have broadcasts like these that pertain to the whole state that are important to catch. So just so you know.
Yep.
This is it's new for this type of Mainer to be out there, though. The Republicans usually aren't the people that are out in force. We're usually the people that are out working. We are the workforce. Thus, we don't have a lot of time to be protesting, causing trouble for ICE, or haranguing people about Somali fraud. So,
Yep. Well, there's what I'm seeing are not peaceful protests.
no, it's a good news that Dean Cain is out there. We have Superman on our side there. He joined ICE earlier last year. That was good to see.
Yep. Well,
The more celebrities should get involved, really.
yeah, he does a good job providing common sense, as we know that's lacking.
Exactly. And, you know, it comes from no better of a character, too. Dean Cain portrays my favorite of the Superman. I didn't grow up with Christopher Reeves. He was before my time. So Dean Cain was the closest to that guy that I got. And boy, what an American he turned out to be.
Yep. Well, there's been a bunch of them over the many years that Superman around, so it's been nice.
Absolutely. And also we have Richard the Unquirer joining us tonight to have some fun giving old Jan a run for her money.
Hi, can you hear me fine?
Absolutely. You're coming through clear as a bell. Welcome aboard.
Awesome. Yeah, I was sitting there waiting for the link, and I'm like, man, this guy didn't send me the link. And
Oh,
then I
I'm
scrolled
sorry.
up. No. I scrolled up and you had sent it to me.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's how it goes, you know, one thing after another. Ron, this is Richard. Richard is the Unquirer out there in the wild, and he is our just basically the nexus of what's going on in Maine as far as right side politics goes. He's got his thumb on the pulse of those ICE interruptions as well, as we were just talking about.
Yep. Good. Richard, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Yeah, sorry if I'm tired. I'm getting over the flu, the cold that went around, and then I've been getting about 5 hours of sleep.
Wow.
Going nonstop.
You need to turn up the heat in that place you're at there. You got to wear a knit cap. That's pretty bad.
Well, no, my hair I haven't had a haircut in a while. My hair is
scruffy.
so wild right now.
It's got the hat on to hide the wild man, you know. Don't want him being confused for the North Pond Hermit, you know.
Exactly.
There we go.
We're still waiting here for Maine Public to take us live. They're undoubtedly not going to change the camera until Jan is behind the podium. So that's what we're waiting on here. It is 7 o'clock, so if you're expecting her to come cartwheeling out the door, I don't think that's going to happen. But
yeah.
So I'm just happy to see that Richard doesn't have eye holes cut into that cap.
Well, my wife actually made this for me.
Oh,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
nice.
Did you guys watch what happened last year during the State of the State address?
She didn't let anybody in, right?
Yeah. So what happened is we had a huge crowd go down there, and everyone started booing her, and all the media heard it, and they actually cut down the audio. And then we ended up finding an audio clip that accidentally came out,
From
and you
the
could hear
State
everyone
House in
booing.
Augusta, this
Wow.
is Maine Public's live coverage of Governor Janet Mills' State of the State address.
Well, they're
This is
there.
Mills' final scheduled address before a joint session of the legislature. Here are Maine Public political correspondent Kevin Miller, Susan Cover of Spectrum News, and Maine Public's chief political correspondent Steve Missler.
Good evening and welcome to Governor Mills' second or final State of the State address. We're expecting her to enter the chamber any moment. We're going to talk about basically what she's going to.
It would be
talk
great
about
if she
this
came out
evening,
like a
and
wrestler, you know,
this is
just
a
because it's the
different
last
State of the
time,
State
you know,
address
she
ever
comes out with the
because
belt on, the
normally
gloves, you know.
these
Yep.
speeches are basically a look back at accomplishments, but this year is going to be a
This
lot
is gonna be a
different
little
because
annoying if
Governor
this
Mills
lip
is
sync
running for the
doesn't-
U.S. Senate, and that is going to change the dynamic of
Is the audio off for you?
Yeah, it certainly is. So this race is of huge national importance.
Just a little bit better?
in the state of Maine, of course, but this race could
I
help
was
decide.
thinking
control
the,
Congress. It's unclear
talk
how
with
much
the
Governor
audience.
Mills will talk about the Senate race.
Oh.
This technically is a speech of the governor. This is not a campaign speech. She's not supposed to be talking about Senator Susan Collins and her primary campaign to try to defeat her. But I think it's almost, you can't
It's a
argue
good question.
really
Will Jan
consistent
be
with
able to
this
resist the
dominant
urge to go into
everything that's
campaign mode in the
just
middle of
about
the state of the state? Will she
and
be able to
everything that comes
resist
from the
it?
governor
No,
and how
no
the
way.
legislature responds
I don't
to the
know.
governor, especially the Republicans. And so
She's
we'll have to
she's
wait and
losing
see
pretty
how
hard to
much- how much she
Plattner.
says.
This is going to be the last time she can reach the whole
Yeah,
state.
and what I'll be looking for is what kind of tone do we see from the governor? We're obviously facing some difficult times, but oftentimes these kinds of speeches, there's a lot of applause and the party in power stands up and supports their governor and makes a big production of showing how much they support her, and the party that's not in power sits and maybe shakes their head and shows disapproval. So what kind of tone the governor sets right out of the gate, how much she goes into policy specifics versus maybe kind of, like Kevin said, highlighting some things that might appeal to voters who are thinking about the Senate race at this point.
So they're
Right, and
they're pretty
this
much trying to
particular
soft
speech comes at a
land
very
this for her, aren't
politically
they? They're
fraught
trying to
moment.
get everybody ready for
Right
her to be
now in
like,
Maine, there's an
yeah,
immigration surge. That's
this is
really
campaign
dominating the
season.
News over the last couple of weeks. Of course, that's in conjunction with the immigration surge in Minnesota, which has kind of colored the debate here.
Here we
Do you
go.
think that she's going to talk about that much, Kevin, during this speech tonight?
I think it's almost impossible that she doesn't talk about it in some way.
So I'm just going to walk them down for a little bit because they're going to do what we're doing already. They don't have any new information. We'll have them a little bit chipper chappering. But he's right. She's obviously going to bring up what's going on in Minnesota because it hasn't been as crazy as what's been going on in Maine. And so she's going to try and flip that into, oh no, guys, it's totally coming here now.
Did you watch the Graham Plattner speech that the media didn't release at the Lewiston rally?
That was insane. That guy went full communist revolutionary right there.
It took me about, I was looking for it nonstop. I started hearing people talk about it on Reddit, the leftist groups, and they go,
yeah,
did you hear him? He's our guy. And I'm like, I got to hear this speech. All the media was there. Why didn't they cover it? And it took me so long to find it.
Well, they couldn't cover it. The big issue is he called for a national revolution, a violent revolution, an overthrowing of the government. There was no mincing of words. And somehow the Democrats are like, no, that's fine. That's normal. The 2 Nazi tattoos, perfectly normal too. There's nothing to worry about with this guy. He's as normal as everybody else.
So I've been spending the past day or so, more than that, endless hours, trying to infiltrate the left.
Yeah.
And right now, I can't give too many details. I doubt anyone would be watching that would throw it out. But you know who they name dropped that I could use as a vetting source with my fake account? Shenna Bellows.
Of course.
Yeah. They said, can you get her to verify you or validate you?
Wow. So it goes that deep.
Yeah, it's bad. It's so bad. It's so bad.
They have redundancies on top of redundancies to make sure that anybody with common sense doesn't get through. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing how people who go to college to learn how to do something manage to come out of college and never do that thing, but get jobs in high-powered positions like how Shanna Bellows has. She's organizing some, rebellion, resistance, rather than doing her job as the Secretary of State. It's bizarre.
Well, with collectivism, it's not meritocracy, it's obedience. So the more obedient you are is actually what will rise you up the ranks with that. It's the same with like the CCP. The more skilled and obedient you are, you need both combined to the actual system is what rises you up in that rank.
Well, and two, we saw Steve Robinson talking about this with Sean Ryan on his extended interview that Sean posted. Steve, of course, was detailing what was going on down in Lewiston with how it is a closed network. You are not allowed to ask questions. Everyone has everyone's back.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
I wonder why that is.
Well, they have something to protect, and you know how that works. If they're going to protect it that hard, that means it's corrupt, it's evil, and they don't want it to see the light of day. So if you fight that hard to avoid an audit, you've obviously done something wrong.
Yeah, the fraud in the funds is actually just the pathway to fuel the revolution. It's pretty bad. It's the right is now realizing that they've actually been at war with the left for about almost a decade. And
Yes.
that realization has actually changed the dynamic. Now the right's actually fighting back. Before they thought they were part of the same community, and all they had to do was negotiate, create really strongly worded points. And now Republicans are realizing that these people have been at war with them, and they don't look at them as part of their community, but as adversary.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't come to terms with a lot of these new style Democrats because they have no interest in coming to terms. There is no middle ground.
I've watched hundreds of hours of city council and school board meetings where I see really good Mainers go there and they go, you know what? If I just make the right point, if I just do the right speech and provide the right facts, they'll meet me halfway. And it's the opposite. Not only do they not meet them halfway, they double down and then they actually make it worse. And people that's what wakes them up where they go, what the hell is going on? It's bad.
Now, Ron, you've seen this out on the campaign trail where Republicans have become very aware of how hostile Democrats are to them.
Yes, for sure. But that doesn't come as a surprise to me. The hostility, for me, manifests itself in telling lies. That's how I determine the hostility. Because, as an example, I went to Congresswoman Pingree's town hall that she had in Westbrook. And she really parroted all the same things that you would hear on MSNBC, now MS Now. And to a standing ovation, 4 standing ovations she got in that auditorium. And there were 600 or 700 people there. That's got to get fixed. The problem was there was no one there to tell the truth, no one there to counter the things that she was saying. So we've talked about having some town halls ourselves where the truth will be spoken and backed up by facts should someone tend to contradict what it is that we are saying. So we'll see how all that goes, but the truth will set us free.
Ron,
Absolutely.
So I run the Maine X community on Facebook, and we're up to almost 80,000 members. The messages, I get hundreds of messages that I can't respond to at this point. I don't have a team large enough. Right. You know what? One of the number one things that people say we need to have in Maine for the right, it's exactly what you just said. The number one thing over and over again is why can't we need to have a statewide town hall meeting every 3 months, gather everyone together and organize. It's the number one thing that I get asked all the time. And I said, I don't have the networking to do it, but people ask me all the time, we need this. We need it.
Well, I think it's, I made a commitment during my last run here that when I returned home, every weekend that I returned home, I would hold a town hall somewhere in Congressional District 1 to let people know what I was doing, but more importantly, to hear what they wanted me to do. The name of the job is representative of the people. So you're there to reflect how they feel about all the different things that are going on in the United States and in Maine. And if you're not doing that, you're not representing the people. You're not living up to the job that they hired you to do for them.
Exactly. We had
pretty simple.
We had a revolution over not having representation, over having nobles decide things for us. We had a revolution over that. So it's important that our representatives come home in our representative republic and check in on everybody.
Right. So an organization I'm very familiar with, having commanded it, we had a saying there that said, the answer rarely comes from the top, it bubbles up from the bottom. And when we plan operations, the folks who are going to be out there on the ground are the one that put the plan together. They're the ones that are going to be executing. They know what they can do and what they can't do. So the commander is not telling them how they're going to skin the cat. They figure out how they're going to do that. And then they present that solution to him and he approves because he is the commander. He's the one that's ultimately responsible. But because he knows the people to the degree that he does, he has faith, trust, and confidence in their abilities to come up with the right answer. And it's as simple as that. Coming up with the right answer is will take some compromise. I'm a Republican, and I'm the first to admit we don't have the market cornered on good ideas. There are some Democrats that might have a good idea out there, and all of those things need to be considered when we figure out what the best solution is for the United States of America, or in the Maine Senate and House of Representatives for for Mainers. It's not that tough.
Exactly.
Can I ask you guys? So I actually don't even know. I've seen Tom post his site a bunch of times on X. Can you guys give me a quick rundown of like how you guys got started, how you met, who you are, Tom? Like, I mean, you sent me some stuff that you did with it was like the fighting scene between what skills do you have? You seem to be extremely talented.
Well, I came out of nowhere. I've had a disease. It's kept me on my back for 10 years. I'm finally getting my strength back. So I said, I might as well get involved and save my state. I don't have anything else in my life. So that's quite literally my focus is saving Maine. I'm not strong enough to run for office. So I've devoted myself to making sure that I present our Republican candidates as a team. And that's why you see all the AI stuff that I make is involving showing everyone together. Like, Colonel Russell being involved with former Governor LePage and everybody being presented as like, we're a force for Maine together. And I think that's a big problem with Republicans is we're all marching in 1,000 different directions, as opposed to being like, no, this is the spearhead. This is where we're going. We're cutting through the line all at once. Yeah, and we're having a hard problem getting guys to agree to be like, yes, it's very important to fix the potholes up in Medibets. Very important to get that. Okay. We're going to get those potholes taken care of, but we really need to make sure that we're not doing universal health care because the Democrats snuck it in to that pothole bill.
Yeah.
The other thing that Jan's genius idea was, and she's not going to bring it up, is that we're paying for sex changes for these illegals, by the way. Mm-hmm. That's part of Medicare.
Yeah.
We're spending a ton of money that we don't know about on illegal aliens.
Absolutely. I mean, the Somali fraud is just the tip of the iceberg. If they're getting away with that, imagine the native-born Mainers that have been marinated in this system and what they're able to pull off. These no-bid contracts are insane. I have no idea how that's even legal. That's obviously awarding favors.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen the criteria for no-bid contracts. I'll speak about federal contracts. If time is critical and it has to be done immediately, and you can't take the time to go through a bidding process because of national security, okay? If national security is another one, not because of time, but because you don't want to open up a bid process and expose people to a technique or a procedure or a capability that someone has that if the enemy finds out about it, it won't be nearly as effective. So OPSEC really is one of the reasons. And the third is no one else can do the task. So out of 100 contracts as a federal contractor, I think I had one sole source contract. And because we had a tool, we were the only ones that had the tool. That's why we were given the contract. We were the only ones with that capability. Well, you look at the 5,500 awards that have been given, 1,000 companies could do what these sole source contracts have bid or given to friends and relatives of the contracting officer or someone in the government. That's their criteria.
Can you explain OPSEC? I see that term used quite often.
It's operational security. So the things that you do to obfuscate what you are doing. So it's not. For example, if you were doing an operation in a room, you'd put up a carpet covering or some type of wall covering so that folks couldn't observe what it was that you were doing. Just simple things like that to hide or mask what it is that you are doing.
because not to just to pause you real quick, a lot of the times when I'm infiltrating these leftist groups, they keep on using the phrase, you need to ensure like maximum OPSEC. And they keep saying that. They're like, delete the chats, delete this. Once you post it, get the information, pull your names out, don't get doxxed, don't get your information.
Right, just to make it hard for people to find out, just to do what you can to violate transparency, basically. And you do that in the military for the protection of the force, the protection of the mission. So you don't want a whole bunch of people watching what it is that you are doing. And we do it so we're successful at our missions. And of course, that's why they're doing it as well. But their missions should not be hidden like a military mission needs to be.
Yeah, but in their case, their lives are on the line because a lot of the stuff they're getting up to is highly illegal. This is a conspiracy to interfere with federal operations, lawful federal operations, and that does carry jail time.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So these are not the same as the military operations that I'm talking about. They are violating the law. We don't violate the law when we use OPSEC to secure what it is that we are doing or screen.
Right. What's interesting is that they've actually joined forces with a lot of different Islamic groups, and and some of these people have actually learned from military war in the Middle East. And a lot of these people have actually joined forces with the Democrat Socialists, and they actually show how to actually create these systems, OPSEC, how to coordinate and actually use propaganda against the right. It's really interesting watching stuff like Cam Higby and them released a bunch of stuff, and it actually had leftists singing like Islamic prayer with their allies, quote unquote allies, which are generally Islamists and stuff from the Middle East.
Man, that's taking your life into your own hands with those guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, they did. The UK, they did the same thing.
They're doing the same thing that we do in the military there. We call that team building.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what they said. That's exactly what they said.
Yeah, they're trying to be part of the team. Unfortunately, they've picked the wrong team. So
yeah, really, wow. See, the trouble is that the UK, as Richard said, they thought they're on the same side. But for some reason, they keep forgetting that Sharia law is completely anti-leftist. It's so far and gone from even what they think a Republican is. Oh, here she comes. We've got her now.
The Governor and Commander-in-Chief of the state of Maine, the Honorable Janet T. Mills, and the Chief Justice of the Maine Supreme Judicial Court, Valerie Stanfield.
And there we see the governor entering the House chamber right now. We're hearing from where we sit a lot of screaming and yelling from protesters. There's protesters on both sides.
Protesters are filling the halls, gentlemen.
Outside the House chamber, and they're very audible to us, and I'm sure those voices are being heard in that House chamber as well. Glad to see the governor has made it. This is a long delay, I have to say. I think last year was like 15 minutes. This is a solid 20.
Wow.
So glad that she's here.
Perhaps she needed to find her glass
slipper. We're
slipper.
going to run out of things to talk about necessarily.
Well, last year she had to sneak out the side door because of the amount of protesters.
Well, I think it's important.
I was there.
The helicopter out of there now.
A woman governor has, been 7 years, so it's been a little while, but it's important to remember that. She's 78 years old. She certainly hopes to continue her political future, but as you mentioned,
78.
a lot of
wow.
major historical.
Well, she wears it well. I'll give her that.
As well.
That's right. And you mentioned the age, which of course I know that's been discussed a lot in the Democratic primary in the Senate race. Graham Plattner is 41 years old. The governor's 78. I know the age is not just in relation to
everybody is
there.
there.
A complaint or a critique of the Democratic Party or its leadership writ large, isn't it, Kevin?
Yeah, it is. And I think.
And as they're talking about Graham Plattner running against her is sort of a rebellion against the Maine Democrat Central Party as they sort of picked Janet. And here's Plattner coming out of nowhere.
So I think that's going to be a really kind of interesting key to see whether
folks.
And he is. He's representing a really new style Democrat, whereas Jan kind of,
making her way up
you
to the
know,
lectern
puts her,
now,
you know, pinky toe into it. He's like full on in, you know? Oh,
Yeah.
we have the sign language interpreter. Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
At least they're kind enough to clap.
Madam President, Mr. Speaker, Madam Chief Justice, Mr. Attorney General, Mr. Treasurer, Mr. Auditor, Chief Nicholas, Chief McCormick, Chief Bassett, members of my cabinet, members of the 132nd Legislature, and friends and members of my extended and beloved family, and Maine people watching and listening at home. On July 4th, 1976, shortly after 4:30 a.m.,
76.
about 500 farmers stood in the darkness before the dawn. And when the first rays of the rising sun shone on Mars Hill, they cheered and raised the flag as the first Americans to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the founding of this nation. A celebration that began in Mars Hill soon stretched from coast to coast as millions of people expressed their love for our country after years of division and difficulties.
Oh, really? That doesn't sound familiar at all.
Rocked the nation. The Vietnam War had finally come to an end, and Americans looked forward to peace in our time. Our country had survived the national scandal of Watergate and had put behind us the crimes and cover-ups of those who valued political loyalty over their duty to the courts and to the Constitution. One observer watching the crowds that
Gee,
July
lady.
4th day in 1976 said proudly, "The backbone of America is out there." As the Wabanaki people know, our backbone here in Maine is the mountains from which we draw our common strength and fortitude. We are the product of many hills.
Is that cultural
irregular glacial
appropriation?
terrain,
That feels like
the
cultural
esters,
appropriation.
erratics, and the roaming boulders that form the character of our people and the destiny of our
The
city.
sign language lady is just on
This
it,
very
man.
Capitol building towers over the grounds of Capitol Park, where Governor Israel Washburn in 1861 mustered the Boys of Maine.
Oh,
observed the
okay.
Union
Now
League,
we're all
and
right.
that hold the practice of slavery. And from this place, we too can see, as
Why
did
was
those
boys in
courageous
quotation?
men, the quiet prominence of Howard Hill.
Yeah, that was actually kind of interesting.
Down on us today, and which forms the rugged skyline of this capital city. Every part of Maine dares us ever to climb, to be discontent with the flat spaces and plains, and seek higher ground at every turn, and to be tireless in the defense of our people, our state,
Yeah, our
our
people,
nation.
not the ones that broke the law. Big
It is
difference.
an instinct, an attribute, and mark of our character, a reflection of our natural strength that is as enduring and deep as the granite bedrock of Mount Katahdin. It is what compels us to stand fast against injustice, to rise against tyranny, to defend those who cannot defend
You mean like
themselves.
mandating masks and telling people to tattle on their neighbors?
Instinct that is
Like that
as
kind?
important as ever
Hmm.
in this very moment. As people in this state are speaking with moral clarity to protect their neighbors and their communities against federal
Yes,
agents who seek
her
to
neighbors
intimidate and
need to be
silence
in these
us.
houses, not these people from far
Today,
away.
I say to
Yes.
the people of Maine, we will not be intimidated. We will not be silenced.
Oh, it's like she's reading a
And to
bedtime
anyone
story.
outside these halls, including any federal officials, I say, if you seek to harm Maine people, you will have to go through me first.
Emotional manipulation. All emotional manipulation.
So, you mean go through you as in don't answer the phone when you call to nag? Is that what you're saying, Jan? Just don't answer the phone and that goes through you? Because that's how it worked.
Just as we have over the past 7 years, confronting dangerous terrains and and stepping out of treacherous places in order to secure a foothold for Maine people in the upward climb of progress. And so we enter this, the 250th year of our nation's birth, with continued respect for our founding principles and a commitment to democracy, with an unequal determination to preserve the future.
But we're
of
not a
our country
democracy,
and our
Jan. We're a
Constitution.
republic.
Tonight marks my 8th and final time
Yes!
addressing the joint session of the legislature.
Finally!
Yeah.
In every moment that we've gathered in this chamber, it has been my profound honor, yes, an honor and privilege to be elected to serve the people of Maine. You who are the
A
very
bill
backbone
to
of
serve the people of Maine. A
your
bill.
government.
Yes, that's what you did. Yes.
I sought this office with one goal in mind. And it wasn't to break a glass ceiling by becoming the first woman governor.
She
but I'm
literally said
proud to
that
help show others,
in previous
including young
interviews.
girls, that it is possible. It was also not to become the first governor from Franklin County, though I'm proud to claim it as my home, along with legendary Maine guide Fly Rod Crosby, earmuff inventor Chester Greenwood, and others. But it is the people of Maine who are and always have been my North Star. And I sought this office because I believe they deserved better from their government.
Really?
And it would have been
That didn't
easy
work
for
out,
me.
Jan.
It would have been
Hate to
easy
tell
for
you.
all of you to sit back and allow others to carry the burdens of leadership.
All are welcome to Maine.
But as
We welcome the
Senator
whole
Robert
world.
Kennedy
Except the
Sr.
people who live here.
said,
You can get out.
it is more comfortable to sit content in the easy approval of friends and of neighbors than to risk the friction and the controversy.
It's like she doesn't even know what she's saying.
She's a good story.
So
She's a
we
good
have assumed the
storyteller.
mantle
She's an
of
emotional
presidency that
manipulator.
comes with
Yeah.
I used to work for a lot of years
But
for
surely
people.
no one could even have predicted 7 years ago the friction and controversies we would encounter. We would confront the dangers, the crises, tragedies, and heartbreaks that we would endure. Climbing mountains to overcome obstacles and keep Maine people safe.
Safe from invaders that run them over with cars. Exactly,
Maine
Jan.
people will judge
Good
How
job.
well we met these moments. But tonight I want to tell you what these moments have meant to me.
Yeah, this is torture.
I'm
Not
convinced
not
that
much,
history will
apparently.
show that when we faced emergencies, we were steady and strong. And when we found ways to make
Right.
life better for
Like
Maine
COVID,
people,
shutting down
we were
everything.
bold and
Crippling
brave,
education.
and we
Yes.
climbed
Strong.
those hills together.
Going after Rick Savage, stripping him away from his
Beginning in the
license.
first year of my
Yeah.
administration,
Strong.
we
That's what we
restored
were there. You
nursing
bet.
and other critical public health staff to respond to emergencies after years of cuts by the previous administration. And thank
No,
God those nurses were there, along with our National Guard. and
She
our
laid them
healthcare
off if they
workforce,
didn't get
retired and
the
active,
COVID shot.
to answer the
I
call
marched
of
with them.
worldwide
We had hundreds of
pandemics.
medical nurses in Maine that were lost their jobs.
Thanks to them, and thanks
Yep,
to the
'cause of
scientists
Jan.
who developed the
Yeah.
vaccines, and to all the people who rolled up
Ugh.
their sleeves, our state achieved one of the lowest COVID death rates in the country. Very
No,
simple,
Jan, isolation did
saved
that. Most
lives.
Mainers live at least a mile apart. So, yeah, we were good. We also don't have mega centers of sickness like subways, you know? So that's also a big decider, Jan. But yeah, no, it was everybody getting a shot in their arm that saved us. You bet.
You all
That was what did it.
survived because of those vaccines. And a few years later, when a horrific act of violence in Lewiston robbed us of 18 loved ones and caused our state immeasurable pain, we stood together
Oh,
with one another.
We stood together and
Lewiston-
robbed the donations
Yeah.
blind. Yes.
30% of their
The
money.
survivors, the wounded, and the
Yeah.
heroic members of law
Oh.
enforcement and first responders. And
What a
we
joke.
did not let the vitriol and heated rhetoric surrounding the issue of gun violence immobilize us. Instead,
Yes, as it was the gun, not the man that was clearly having mental issues released back into the wild that caused that.
and
Of course.
expand mental health services.
Hopefully we get these killer guns under control because by God, put them on a leash, I guess, you know? If you got your gun vaccinated, you don't want gun rabies getting around.
Revitalizing our working waterfronts reinforcing infrastructure, and rebuilding local businesses to better withstand extreme weather. We came together to
Really?
enact bipartisan
The infrastructure is the worst condition it's ever been in, Jan.
every legislative leader to protect homeowners and businesses and prepare for the storms we know are to come. So the backbone of this state, Maine people, met these emergencies with strength and courage. In some
Moreover,
cases,
fear of
risking their
persecution
own
from our
lives
government, but
to
yeah,
save
sure.
others, and then offering their help with quiet kindness and selfless acts of grace. As we reflect upon these moments, let us also remember those we lost this year, including our beloved lobster lady, Ginny Oliver of Rockland, and Penobscot tribal elder, distinguished decorated veteran Charles Norman Shea. Lawmakers such as Kathy Javner, Denise Harlow, Stan Grozovsky, Linda McKee, Dick Gould, Carol McElwee, Bill Diamond, Carl Turner, Ruth Foster, along with DOT workers James Brown and Dwayne Campbell, who tragically lost their lives recently while serving the people of Maine. And let us pause to remember two young children, Braden Callahan of Rockland and Simon Gonzalez of Standish, who lost their lives in the everyday act of just getting on or off the school bus.
That's a weird problem to have. It really blows my mind that the school buses are killing children. And I'm really having a hard time with that.
As is tradition, tonight I'm proud to stand before you one final time and say that despite our challenges, I believe the state of our state is strong.
Really?
Only one side. Only one side is clapping. Only one side.
Jan, where do you get this information? Who's lying to you?
She is the liar.
Let me talk about the economy first.
Oh.
Under my administration, Maine's economy has grown at a faster rate than many other states. It's true. In fact, we've experienced more economic
After the
growth
Great
in
Depression?
my first 6 years of office than we did in the entire 14 years before that. And I'm proud to say we've seen an increase of 16,200 private sector jobs in our state.
Well, you brought in 67,000 new Mainers. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to underbid every worker we have.
And many other businesses, like the Taste of Maine Potato Chip Company in Limestone, are experiencing significantly expanding their workplace, their workforce, and their footprint. Through my Jobs and Recovery Plan, more than 20,000 men and women enrolled in job training programs, many of them earning a new license or credential in a higher paying job. Like
Many of them not able to speak English when they first entered the program.
Yeah, no one actually knows any of these people. No one does.
Oh, and Maine's unemployment rate has been below 4% for nearly 4 years, one of the longest stretches ever. And it's consistently below both the New England and the state unemployment rates. Our state's credit ratings have been upgraded to the second highest possible rating after being downgraded during the previous administration. An upgrade,
It's a
which the credit
weaponized tool.
agencies say
Yep.
is due to our strong fiscal governance.
Oh,
Welcome.
yes.
ESG. No, ESG. I actually covered that. It's bullshit. She got a better credit rating through environmental, social, and governance board, which meant that he pushed like DEI and other shit.
Yeah, right. Okay, so that
Same
makes
time,
sense.
We've also focused on the infrastructure.
That's that
You
World
need-
Economic
you
Forum
rely on.
nonsense,
Yep,
right?
100%.
Every day, go to
100%.
school just to get around. We've repaired nearly 200 bridges, repaved nearly 8,000 miles of roads everywhere. and
Yeah, how many
positioned
road
Wisconsin
bonds
as
ended
innovative
up jacking the
providers
taxes up to do
and
that, though?
communities. We've connected more than 250,000 homes and businesses with the internet. As a matter of fact,
It really is surprising to be in the year of our Lord 2025 and be bragging about connecting people to the internet still. It really,
thanks to the good work of
only
the
in
Maine
Maine.
Connectivity Authority, fulfilling the promise I made to you here in 2022. You're welcome.
Oh, you're smug about it. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jan. Appreciate that.
We're making it easier for people to live, work, and do business everywhere in Maine.
No one
Everywhere.
thinks that. Nobody.
Not at
Rob
all.
and
It is
Adam,
not
a
easier.
couple who wanted to move to a small town in Maine,
No.
but they
Nobody
needed
thinks
high-speed
this.
internet for work. So 7 years ago, there was no way they could have
Amazing.
moved to a place like Bremen, Maine, and have fast enough internet.
You kidding? My friend
Thanks to our
Tim uses freaking
Starlink.
Starlink.
Exactly.
Now,
Starlink.
They can't talk about
deeply
that. That's
involved in
evil.
Yeah.
Remember?
And just
That's
this
the evil
past fall,
internet.
Welcome a baby boy to their family. We're growing here, folks. We're growing.
No, you're not. You've closed
proud of this
9
economic
birthing
progress.
centers since
Like
2019,
many other
Jan.
states,
You're
we have
not
our fair
growing.
share of hills
Maine
and
has the
valleys.
lowest birth rate in the entire nation.
One of the
Yes,
biggest
it's on
obstacles
par
for
with
many
Japan and
years
South
ahead.
Korea.
Yeah,
Whether you're a new
100%.
college
100%.
grad, a young parent, an older person on fixed income, one of the biggest obstacles is the high cost of living.
Yes, Jan, that you didn't help.
Healthcare, to housing and utilities, to the price of
Netflix subscriptions, to the price of Netflix subscriptions, dear. How about that one?
costs are
Look at
too
that.
high.
I wish the
And Maine
Republicans would
people,
boo
like
her.
millions of people
Like
across the
just be
country, are
bold and boo her.
feeling it.
Just do it.
Well, tonight, I propose we do something about it.
Oh God.
First,
You go to do the Macarena? Oh, she needs a drink. All right. Wet the whistle,
Let's
dear.
remember.
It's a long speech.
over the past 7 years, on several occasions, we have put money back in the pockets of Maine people to help
Oh
them
my
get
God.
through
Who?
difficult times.
Who have you given money back to,
Bipartisan
Jan?
support. In 2021, for instance, during the pandemic,
Nonprofits and
we
foreigners.
sent over 500,000 people a
Oh.
disaster relief payment.
Okay.
$285.
Ani Jan's free money bucks.
Again,
That's what
in
it was. The
2022,
checks.
and
Okay.
again with
All right.
bipartisan support, we send inflation relief checks of $850.
Oh, there's Laura
to
Libby.
880,000 people. And in 2023, again with bipartisan support, we sent 880,000 people an energy relief check of $450. That's a total of nearly $1.3 billion in relief that we've delivered to Maine
Ugh.
people with high costs, to deal with high costs. We did this.
But Jan,
in
that was like
recognition of tough
4
times
years
and
ago. What are you
recognition
talking
that
about?
Each family, each person.
Actually, if you look into the money for the disaster
Giving money
relief, it went to a lot of
directly
like
back to them
coastal elite towns and their
allows them to
businesses.
decide how
It was
best
so
to
bad.
address these needs. For 80-year-old Peg in Pembroke, for instance, who lives on Social Security, her $850 relief check meant a tank of heating oil to help get her through the winter. Or for Terry in Hamden, her relief check paid for food and gas and much needed car repairs. She said, quote, "Please know that all of you have helped at least one person breathe easier," end quote. Well, that's what this is all about, helping Maine people breathe easier.
Free needles. They give free
Over the
needles
past
out.
few
You can
months,
go get
my
100 needles right
administration
now.
put together the supplemental budget. And
Yeah,
we'll
right.
for you soon.
State
We asked
assisted drug
ourselves
addiction.
again and
Thanks,
again,
Jan.
how can we
Appreciate
help
it.
people in the fastest, most direct, most meaningful way? And we thought, well, why reinvent the wheel? Why create a new process, new forms, or new hoops to jump through? So tonight, I propose that we help Maine people breathe a little easier.
Oh,
when
now.
we can, where we can, by sending them an affordability relief check.
Oh, here we go.
$300 each.
Whose
drawn
money
from
is
our
that,
Open
Jan?
Tide Rainy Day Fund to offset in some small way the cost of goods and groceries that are increasing because of tariffs and other.
Even he's like,
circumstances
where are we going to get that
beyond
money
beyond
from?
our state's control. An estimated 725,000 Maine people will be eligible for the
Is this the
affordability
money you recovered from the Somali fraud that you're going to give people, Jan? Is this what you're going to get it from?
Did you hear about one of the nonprofits have actually come forward and said they give the money back to the victims?
Oh, wow.
They just came out today. One of the nonprofits said they'll give the money back.
We're putting tax dollars back in your pockets, and you will have the freedom to decide what to do with it.
Yeah, solid $300. Wow.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And let me
Ugh.
explain. Our rainy day fund, thanks to good.
She sounds like
bipartisan
Marie
work of the
Antoinette with the let them eat
stands
cake
at its
thing.
legal
Gosh.
maximum of more than $1 billion, a balance that is nearly 5 times greater than when I took office. The fund is in a strong position, sufficient for us to draw upon it to meet some of the immediate needs
What
of Maine
are you
people.
talking about,
I
Jan?
ask that you promptly approve this measure.
We've had budget shortfalls
While we're
left
at
and
it,
right over the last
let's
2 years.
continue
How are
to
you
tackle
bragging
one
about
of
a
the most
surplus? Where did that
significant
come
issues
from?
facing Maine
Some
people.
Chinese gold hidden
High
somewhere?
cost of housing. The prospect of home ownership used to be the cornerstone of the American dream.
Yeah, you flooded the state with illegals,
Gateway
and they bought up all the
gateway to
homes.
financial stability.
Everyone
Home
knows.
health
it.
care.
Everyone, yeah,
Is out of
everyone
reach
knows
for
it.
many. The median price for a home in Maine is at $405,000.
The median age is 50 years old too, Jan. We're not building new things here
The
either.
national price of $414,000 and some change. The national news is filled with stories about the difficulties in renting or buying a house from California to Connecticut.
Blue states.
Almost 30% of all Americans are house poor. That is, they spend 30%
That's a
or
Democrat
more of
term,
their
Jan.
income
Why are you
on housing.
quotating it? That's your people.
The entire nation is short millions of units of housing for rent.
If
or
you
for
flood the
sale.
country with up to 20 million people, you're going to
High
have
interest
shortage of
rates,
housing.
Supply chain
What do you
constraints,
know?
and labor
Every
shortages
time.
have made the situation even worse.
UK, Canada, Australia,
President's tariffs
and
on
Europe is going
aluminum,
through the same
steel, and
thing.
other building
Same
materials have
Democratic
driven up
socialists.
costs and slowed new construction at a time when we need it most. Since I took office, my administration has authorized nearly $315 million to help with housing.
Amazing.
Nearly 5 times
I
more
highly
than the
doubt
state
that
of
that
Maine
actually
spent
went
on
toward
housing
Mainers.
production from
It's
2000.
affordable housing that's subsidized by the government. It
Right.
all
The past
that's
year
they're mass.
alone,
If you go around
my
Augusta
administration
or
and Maine Housing
Gardner,
have
Portland,
financed more
Biddeford,
than
anywhere, that's what they're
1,000
doing.
affordable
Mass
homes,
subsidized
mostly
housing.
new
Yep.
construction.
Locking them in
One
like
such development
sardines.
is Wilbur's
Yep,
Woods in
Soviet bloc
Brunswick.
style buildings that are gray
21
and drab.
new single-family
Amazing.
homes, which have sold for well below the median home price in Cumberland County. Kathy Amsden has lived and worked in Maine all her life. But when she was getting ready to retire and ready to downsize, she couldn't find a smaller place within her budget. When Wilbur's Woods became available, she
Right.
was one of the first people to move in.
Oh, good.
Another new housing
A
development.
nice paper thin walls,
Congress
paper
Square
mache,
Apartments, 48
insulation.
units.
Yes.
Controlled by the government with officials that are people, public employees
One
that
young
vet
woman named
people.
Linda, who
And if you
works
don't
in
have the right
local
political
business,
view,
said
you will
she
not
was
get into these
really
places.
relieved
That's
to
how they
find
do
a
it.
place to rent
Right.
things within her budget.
Yet another level of filtering.
Those
Yeah,
affordable apartments
another
will
level.
keep more young people living and working in Maine.
No.
And
they're
together
fleeing.
we enacted historic legislation to knock
She's
down
actually
the brakes
wrong
to
about
housing
that.
in Maine, and
Yeah.
we created
We've had more
the Mobile
retired
Home
folks come in
Preservation
here than
Fund,
people who are ready to work who aren't
helping
illegal,
mobile
to
home
make that
residents
specification.
purchase their own parks before the wealthy out-of-state corporations could move in, swoop in, and buy them out from under them and evict the residents.
Oh my God.
Oh, all those
And
evil
now,
landlords and their
residents
rent
have
collection.
purchased 13 mobile home parks in Maine, creating long-term stability for those people.
Wow. I doubt it. Not affordable housing never leads to stability. The whole affordable part means that it's subsidized, which means corridors are cut. We're seeing that all over Facebook too. Those videos of how those crews from South America were just hodgepodging houses together. Some
Yep.
places, like the
Became
roof
first
isn't even
signing
connected
agreement
to the
to
building
purchase
below
their
it.
own
It's
parks
just there
under our
hanging.
new right of first refusal law. And a member of the Blueberry Fields Cooperative in Brunswick, when this happened in Brunswick, had been afraid that his rent was going to be going up by $400, $500 a month
Wow.
if his mobile home park went up for sale. As someone on a very low fixed income, he knew he couldn't pay that. Neither could his neighbors. But with state support, the Blueberry Fields Cooperative purchased their mobile home park, protecting it as affordable housing for years to come. As that man
She's so
put it,
happy about
quote,
this.
Affordable
"We are
housing is
now
just
in
subsidized by
charge of our
taxpayers.
destinies here," end quote. It's been said that life is measured not by what you build, but by who you lift. Well, here in Maine, we're both building and lifting lives up so that people can be in charge of their own destinies.
By making them
Can't give up
dependent
the
on the
American
government.
dream.
Good job, Jan.
not when young families can't find a house that fits their budget, not when retirees want to downsize but can't find a smaller place at a reasonable cost, not when businesses are losing
Whose fault would
workers
that be,
because they can't
Jan?
find housing
Who would make
nearby.
it so difficult here to build and
tonight,
hold
I'm
property and rent
announcing
that property? Who might
a
that
$70
be?
million
Hmm.
American Dream proposal to further expand housing in Maine. First, I proposed 2 new pilot programs backed by $17.5 million in one-time funds from the Rainy Day Fund, administered by Maine Housing, to build 530 new homes and apartments for middle-class families. Second, with
Oh,
another one-time infusion from the
congratulations.
Rainy Day
Neat.
Fund, I
What
propose
would
that
those
we
middle-class
increase our
families be
investment
again?
in those
Oh, yes,
very
that's right. The
successful housing
Somalis.
programs that we already have by $52.5 million, which will in turn trigger at least $15 million in matching funds. In total, this American Dream proposal will result in 825 new homes all across Maine. It's the American dream.
Neat. Oh, yes, to live in a sardine. Yes, to live in a sardine can. You bet. The American dream stacked on top of each other. Yes. Especially in Maine, where we have just vast tracts of land.
Now let's
Like
talk about
85% of the state is just solid forest.
represents
Of
about
course.
41% of the
Apartment
entire
buildings
square
to the
threshold, as
skies,
you
Jan.
know.
Yep.
In the last 7 years, we've built a strong pipeline from classroom to career
Yeah.
for young people across Maine, from pre-K to post-grad. We've increased research
Into
and development
NGO.
funding for the
I was the
University of
largest
Maine,
employer of millennials
which in
when I
turn
was
has earned a
college age.
prestigious R1
Into the
designation,
nonprofits. That's the
placing it
majority of
among
what
our
people
top
under 40 are
research
working in Maine is a
universities in
nonprofit.
America.
So,
You're welcome.
good job.
And during
You
that
created a
period,
bunch of
the
people with their
University of
hand
Maine
out
system
on
has
behalf of a
conferred
bunch of people with their hand out. Good job, Jan.
42,416 degrees and credentials, including a record high number of degrees in high demand fields like engineering, computing, healthcare, business, teaching, and new technologies. And as a result of our investments and UMaine's good work, the university system is realizing its 7th straight semester of increased enrollment. Chancellor Malloy, President Farini Mundi,
Of students from
and Board of
away.
Trustees Chair Trish Riley.
Most Mainers can't
We're
afford
here
to go
tonight,
there.
and
They
I
went up
want to
almost
thank you for the
1,000% on their
great work
tuition
you've
since
been
I
doing.
graduated in 2008. It's something like 800% since I graduated in 2008. It's crazy.
And I want to congratulate the University of Maine and the University of Maine Graduate Workers Union, UAW, for recently negotiating
Happy to help,
their
folks.
first
Happy to have
ever
you. Don't forget to hit
collective
like and
bargaining
subscribe.
contract. Thank you for that hard work.
United Auto Workers? That can't be right.
And of course, we've also increased funding for the Maine Maritime Academy for campus improvements and operations over the past 7 years, making it an extremely attractive institution for an increasing number of students. And graduates
away.
will go on to good paying careers in the maritime industries. I believe President of Maine
The maritime
Academy,
industries you're
Greg
trying to
Johnson, is
kill
here
with
us
your
tonight,
stupid
and I wanna
offshore
thank you for
wind
their
that's going to
support.
cause the fisheries to not be able to fish around those windmills. Crazy. You don't want fishing anyway, Jan. That hurts the fish. It hurts the environment. You're all against global warming.
And
What are you
finally,
talking about, Jan? More marine
we made community
biologists?
college, 2 years of community college free. We did. You're welcome.
You're absolutely right, Tim Collins. This is pure BS. Mainers hate Janet. Yes,
More
very
than
much.
23,000 students have taken advantage of our free community college program to date, with many more scheduled to achieve a degree or certificate over the next 2 years. Nearly 2,000 of those students have transferred to the University of Maine or other four-year colleges. Free community college grads have gone on to work in Maine. Grads like Tori
Did she say
Wild.
free or three? I
Tori
can't
grew up
tell.
in Gray, building things with her grandfather in his woodworking shop, and she knew that someday she wanted to be a builder herself. She couldn't afford to go to college, but our free community college program allowed her to get a degree in building construction technology. And Tori recently helped build a new electrical lab at Central Maine Community College in Auburn.
Oh.
Tori and Vice President of the Maine Community College System, Dr. Betsy Libby, are here with us tonight, and I want to acknowledge and congratulate them on their great work.
You're right, Adam. We will never forget what Janet Mills did to the Maine people. She's obedient to the Democrat machine. You're absolutely right.
The free community college program has made a life-changing difference for thousands of Maine young people. And that's why, as part of my budget last year, I had proposed making
What
it
Maine young
permanent.
people? We're leaving
Well, the
6,000 people under the age of 40 leave here every year, Jan. That's a whole town.
Class of 2025. Look, education opens doors of opportunity. And so tonight, I'm taking another swing at it. Let's make community college free in Maine permanently.
No way.
Yeah, there are no Maine young people. The few that go to the universities get indoctrinated to leftist movements. You're absolutely right. It's a machine, assembly line.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Look, these three proposals, distributing relief checks, building more homes, and making
Burning
free
money
community
as
college
fast as we
permanent
can on pointless
provides
things
both
that won't help.
immediate
Yes,
and
yes.
long-term cost relief. Now I want to talk about a few other ways that Maine people can save money, especially as we head into tax filing season. Well, as many of you know, there's significant tax relief in our current budget to keep costs down for Maine families. When I took office in 2019, there was $388
At the cost of running
in direct
property
tax
taxes up on
relief for Maine
municipalities
families
as
driven by
they're
our new
forced to
budget.
take on responsibilities that
We
the state
increased that
was
to
holding.
nearly
Good job, Jan.
$1.1 billion in tax relief. What does that mean for the people of Maine? It means more money back in your pockets. In Maine, if you're working and raising a child, you may very well qualify for $650 through the state's earned income tax credit.
Yeah, that's a little different, Jan.
That's $650 directly back into your pocket. What's more, you may also qualify for Maine's $305 dependent exemption tax credit for your child. And this year, if your child is under the age of 6, that credit doubles to $610, thanks to Senate President Matty Daughtry. Thank you, Senate President.
Well, we want relief for people who have kids. We do. That's necessary. But I feel like there's a fee behind that she's not talking about.
Or if you're a graduate who's paying off your school loans, you probably qualify for our student loan tax credit, once known as Opportunity Maine, which gives you a refundable tax credit of up to $2,500 a year. It's one of the most generous programs in the country for tax relief for people paying off their student loans. Or if you're a
But that's not the case. They're swimming in it around here.
Property tax
That's what I hear from everybody in my age group that went to college is they can't pay their bills, Jan. So that's clearly not working. How about you get them a job?
Everyone leaves Maine. Everyone leaves Maine. All my friends have left Maine.
And I want every person in Maine to take advantage.
Well, and you hear from folks that are approaching retirement age, they have dreamt all their lives of selling their home and moving to Florida.
Yep. And the ones that want to stay here, the property tax are crushing them. All.
In
It's crazy. Belfast, Waldo, has to go up 57% on their property taxes.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, 46% of renters are paying more than 30% of their income in order to stay in their home. It's got nothing to do with landlords. They're neck deep in regulation, fees, and taxation.
Then in 2023, we also met the state's obligation to fund revenue sharing at 5% after the previous administration had slashed it to 2%. You all heard from the towns and cities. That means more money goes back to the towns and cities to pay police, firefighters, road crews, and local services so that less of that cost is borne by the property.
You're not the only one, Maine Teens Jam. They are definitely setting up for that kind of exodus, that's for sure.
Education and revenue sharing because the voters.
Steve said during his interview that if they win, he's actually thinking about moving out of Maine.
Property taxes are still too high.
They'll come after him.
Yeah.
We
Oh, yeah.
have a commission created by the legislature and signed into law by me, working on that very issue today. But I know that the state of Maine has got to do whatever it can to hold down property taxes, which is why I'm including
You failed already.
$46 million in my supplemental budget, general funds, to maintain our commitment to pay 55% of the cost of education. I don't want to see.
Yet you
those
keep
costs
ramping it
passed on
up
to
with
our
these
students.
qualifications and all these additional programs you
But
want
let's
to
talk
throw
about
into
a few other
education,
things that
Jan.
we've
It doesn't make
done
any
in
sense.
education and for our schools and for the public education. So first, we're providing free school meals for all public school students statewide.
That's not new. It's not
You're
new.
welcome.
Why are you taking, that's been since the dawn of time, Jan.
And we've helped more than 120 school districts provide healthy.
What about those
locally grown
halal
food
meals?
from
Yeah,
their
I'm just gonna say that.
farm.
I'm just gonna say
Sensible.
that.
We're also repairing crumbling school infrastructure across the state. And we've expanded early childhood education with more children enrolled in pre-K than ever.
And you've expanded boys and girls' locker
Raised the minimum
rooms.
teacher salary, and we added 1,000 teachers to the workforce.
1,000 teachers that pre-program children to be obedient Democrat voters.
For the first time in decades, we upgraded equipment at the career and technical education centers. And enrollment at the CTE.
I'm told that there's a new school in Skowhegan that takes 6 children. It takes children at 6 weeks old. So, yeah,
We expanded
crazy.
early college programs to serve 65,000 kids and counting. That's a lot of high school kids getting the college experience and going on. And Maine's high school graduation.
But they
rate
don't
is
speak
the
English,
best
Jan.
It's
Yeah.
ever
Yep.
been.
Should we mention that like a great deal of schools are complaining that they can't educate the kids that speak 7 different languages?
And surveys are showing that Maine students are actually healthier and happier than they were just 2 years ago, with a significant number of them reporting an improvement in their mental health and a decrease in the need.
There's
to drink,
6,000
smoke, or
non-citizen K
substances
through 12 students that is wreaking havoc on our education system, and she will
Still,
not
like
acknowledge
people-
that.
Many people across Maine, I was concerned when the National Assessment of Education.
Yeah, 40, almost 40%
published
non-English
declining test
speakers.
scores from
I
a
don't even know
sampling
how
of
that's possible.
1,800 Maine students in the 4th and 8th grades back in January 2024, 2 years ago. Well, as the daughter of a longtime public school teacher and someone who raised 5 daughters who went to public schools in Maine, it's important to me that every child acquires math and reading skills to set themselves up for success.
They also require English speaking skills.
We're
Crazy,
ranked
huh?
so low now. We're ranked
Test
so
all
low.
4th
Yeah,
grade and 8th
we're almost
grade
the bottom. I
students
think it's like
twice a year
44 out of 50.
actually show much better results with scores that track and even surpass the national norms. And while that broader data
In
is
what? Picking their
encouraging, we wanna
nose? They're
do
not being
more
taught
to make
anything,
sure
Jan. They're being
our
taught social
students
cues.
are getting the best education they can. And so I directed the Maine Department of Education to strengthen.
We have
students'
4th
reading
graders that
and
are
math
not
skills
at
in
4th
every
grade
way
reading
we can.
level. Owen McCarthy was
The
talking
department then
about this the
created
other
the Maine
night
State
on
Reading and
Muddy
Math
Waters.
Action
We have
Plan,
4th graders that are not at
more
4th grade reading level, and
evidence-based
it's a majority of 4th graders.
educator training.
Have you
and
been on
how to
Muddy
connect
Waters yet?
partnerships into
No,
both
no, I've only
classrooms
watched.
and
Do
improve
you want to be on
student
there?
skills.
I
This
think
effort
you
builds
need
Sure,
to
I
be
talked
on
to
$10
there.
million investment
Sure, I
we
talked
made
to
in
him.
2024 to encourage schools to adopt the highly successful science of reading approach, teaching kids how to read. It has turned around poor literacy rates for kids across the country.
And I'm
it's
being
doing the
told
same
that
here in
apparently
Maine.
we're going to get dental clinics in
The
elementary
Department of
schools
Education has
now.
also worked closely with individual
Everything.
schools
This isn't
to
England.
improve their school
They're
score, their
private
student
entities
scores.
within the school
So like
that you can't
Indian
FOIA
Township
request
School
or
Principal
even look
Molly
into.
Newell wrote us, thanking us, saying that what she's seen is not just
Trying to
better
propose
scores,
it.
but
Crazy.
increased student confidence.
We have Jonathan Christie here saying Maine education is bad because of her and the Maine Democrats. Exactly. Exactly. They've had 8 years. Look what they've done.
While I'm talking about educational attainment, there's something else that stands in the way of student success, I believe. Something
Yes,
that's
the
been on top of my
programming around
mind
gender
with
dynamics in
many
which you
teachers
melt their
across
brains
Maine.
under the belief they're in the wrong
That's
body.
cell
That's a
phones
big
in the
problem.
classroom. We know that social media can be very disruptive, especially during the school day, and disruptive. To
Now they're going to
mental
ban the
health of young
phones so your kids can't
So it's
record the
time to get
shenanigans
cell
being
phones
forced on
out
them.
of our classrooms.
There it is. She just said it. They're going to ban the cell phone so the kids can't record the programming.
Yep. Yeah.
You can't catch your teacher diminishing like that teacher that was talking back to that student, calling him stupid, yelling at him.
Tonight, I propose we enact a statewide ban on cell phone use during the school
Oh,
day, bell
this is
to
what
bell,
Australia did.
to reduce distraction and disruption and keep children's attention focused on learning.
On learning that their body is wrong, right, Jan? That they need to go horrific surgeries in order to be right. Is that right, Jan? Body positivity?
The only time we ever figured out what was going in schools is when kids actually took videos and photos. They did this in Australia and UK, and now they can actually indoctrinate the kids 100%. 100%.
Right, the parents won't know.
It'll be a significant change for some.
There was a FOIA request to Gorham
encouraged by one
where
senior at
the
High
superintendent and others actually admitted that social
the news
media
station that
was
when the
quote
schools
unquote radicalizing the
cell phone
youth
ban
so that they wouldn't actually think a certain way.
But then you
Wow.
realize
Yeah.
We got Tim Collins here saying his niece was destroyed by this, and she now believes she's one of those
everybody
non-binaries.
looking down at
Yeah,
their phone
I hear that all the
every
time.
minute of the school day. Change isn't always easy, but if the past 7 years have taught us anything,
We need fighters. We need people that will actually fight back. We cannot have the typical Republicans that just want to build and negotiate because they will not negotiate with these people. They get manipulated by them.
Jan's demonstrating that. She's out here rewriting history as we speak.
while the average price of electricity in Maine is typically among the lowest in New England, that's of no comfort to Maine people. We're suffering under the weight of
They
high
shut off that
energy
Maine Montreal power line, by the way. Catch that Saturday, they turned it off. We've been cranking out the oil in order to keep the lights on over here.
Whatever happened to all the solar panels? I thought our electricity was supposed to go down.
massive rate hike.
Even ChatGPT says those don't work in the winter.
The PUC rightly rejected out of hand. But the
That's them, not us. There we go.
But the high price of electricity is not, as some Republican friends would say, driven predominantly by renewable
We're tired of
energy
Mainers believing her and the Maine Democrat lies. Yeah, well, we've got great candidates out there like Bobby Charles, we got David Jones, we've got Owen McCarthy and Ben Midgley, and on down the list, Mr. Wessels as well. Wow, are they being hacked by the Russians? Is Max Headroom going to break in any minute here?
Electricity produced in New England is generated by
This is not us. This is their feed. This is them. Wow. Wow. This is just melting.
That's why we're.
They got it. Okay. Somebody forgot to turn this. They had the microwave on in the broadcast truck. That's what happened. They had the microwave on.
I don't care.
You remember that? You turn the microwave on, TV would fuzz out.
British House of Commons for a second there. That is why we're procuring
Ew.
more cost-effective clean energy, like wind and solar here in Maine, in northern Maine in particular, and hydro from Canada, while pursuing energy storage as well. And at the same time, Efficiency Maine Trust and my energy department will be making available rebates for high-efficiency water heaters, as well as heat pumps, and for weatherization and other energy upgrades, because, after all, the best dollar saved on electricity is the one not spent. Take the Lovewell family in Caribou, for example. Their 100-year-old family home just wouldn't stay warm in the winter.
What a
Snow was blowing
surprise.
through the old cracked windows, and electric heating bills were in the thousands. But with weatherization funds from the state, the Lovewells replaced 14 outdated windows, insulated their home, and made other upgrades which have made their home warm and comfortable and saved them a lot on home heating bills. Quote, not only did it give new life to an old home, they said, it gave comfort, safety, and enjoyment to our family. Their story's not unique. Maine has one of the oldest housing stocks in the country. And while
That's a
we
problem,
love these
Jan.
old houses, like I love mine, they're a bear to heat, especially with oil. So I'm proud.
So
to
she
say
went
that
from
since I
like
took
the
office,
ultra
we
powerful,
reliance
we
on
will
energy
not be dominated into like,
down
well,
to
I'd like to tell you about some
67%
windows
of our
now.
homes to
Yeah.
52%.
The tone is all over the
There's still a
place
ways
here.
to go. Let's lower our energy costs by lowering our reliance on fossil fuels and make all our homes safer and more weatherproof.
So
Another
where do you
driver
think the power
of
comes
high
from,
costs
Jan?
for Maine
Let
people,
me just,
of course,
where do you think that
is
energy
health
comes
care.
from? Because it's not your windmills and it's not your solar panels.
Man, their feed is really having a hard time.
Yeah. Again,
Here
it's
in
it's
Maine,
not us, it's
we've worked
them.
hard
Yeah.
to expand healthcare to more people, to small businesses, to the self-employed.
She looks like Austin
Yeah.
Powers.
Yeah.
Wow, that is awful. Is there somebody else streaming it? Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Maybe Wobby's got it. Nope, they're not airing it. Gotta love it. Man, that is awful. Nope, nope. Surprisingly, Maine Public is apparently the only one that is streaming this. Even the Maine legislator isn't streaming this. This is literally the only feed you can get it from.
Yeah.
Wow. The storm passed
Because
already.
of Medicaid expansion.
Here we go.
A young woman with significant health issues was able to restart medications because she now had health insurance. Now, he said, she's finishing her GED and going on to nursing school. He said, quote, "Our state needs more workers desperately," the doctor wrote, but people need good
Jan, you
health
just
to
told
work,
us we have
and
record
Maine
numbers of
more
employment. What are you talking about?
Exactly. We have record numbers of low unemployment, but yet we need to have mass amounts of workers.
Besides expanding Medicaid, we've also expanded access to private health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. Together,
The
we enacted the
Unaffordable Care
Made
Act.
for Maine Health
You'll be
Coverage
fine
Act,
for not
which
having
established the
insurance under.
state-based
Yes.
health insurance marketplace, coverme.gov, and which made many preventative care visits free or less costly.
Yeah, address
And we
the
codified
fraud.
protections
Address the
of
fraud.
ACA,
Jonathan Christie asks, how could anyone believe her lies? We need a red wave in our state and Maine this November. Well, they believe her lies because they live in a bubble. The Democrats live inside of a bubble. It is
And while
law
the
to
U.S.
them.
Supreme Court and the federal government have rolled back the right to reproductive health care, we in Maine have fought to protect it and to expand that right. And we're not backing down.
So here we go. Back again. Shanna Bellows, by the way, said that she wants to bring universal health care, meaning everybody in the state gets on Maine Care. We'll just apparently find that money at the end of the rainbow. What's that, Ron?
Nothing.
Oh.
You want to protect women and girls, then fully fund health care for women and girls, and fully fund...
You mean abortion.
good.
That's what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Fully fund abortion. That's what you're talking about.
Oh my God. Look at the lack of people clapping. Look at them.
Yeah. Look at these people that are on their feet about that. Yeah, we need to keep boys in girls' locker rooms. We need to have men defeating girls. That's right. Oh, yeah, that's great. Equal rights and lefts. You're right. Yep.
Oh.
We also expanded health coverage for postpartum care, a full year postpartum. And we increased funding for family planning services provided by organizations like Planned Parenthood and Maine Family Planning, on which so many
Red wave
people rely
indeed.
on for primary and preventative care. And earlier today, I was proud to announce that once again, where the federal government has fallen down, Maine will stand tall. And I
These guys are
proposed in my
disgusted.
supplemental budget a one-time appropriation of $2.25 million in general funds to replace the money that this president and Congress have cruelly cut from Planned Parenthood and Maine Family Planning.
The Planned Parenthood, by the way, that focuses on Black communities, as Margaret Sanger explicitly outlined. Planned Parenthood, by the way, that's A-OK with taking a living fetus out of the body, heartbeat and all, into a vacuum. By the way, they don't like to talk about that.
Nobody's making mistakes. What?
The Republicans are leaving in en masse.
They're disgusted. I mean, how can you sit here and just have her rewrite history like that? You know, you have your stomach churning.
Healthcare at the state level is in jeopardy, though, because of the president.
They want you to hate them. They do. They're really trying.
Signed legislation that I'll call the big bad bill. A bill that cut billions of dollars.
Genius. Took the whole group chat to come up with that.
In order to finance tax breaks primarily for billionaires who don't want them, don't even need them. What a backward policy. And while Maine will receive $190 million through the Rural Health Transformation Program, and we'll use those funds, well, we'll put them to good use. God, those funds pale in comparison to the estimated $5 billion in healthcare funds that Maine will lose over the next 10 years. What's that about? Because of the federal government's actions, upwards of 33,000 people across Maine are likely to lose access to health care.
Just a Somalian fake.
Well, what she doesn't want to talk about is that they put fat people on Maine Care. They literally sign up morbidly obese people to be on Maine Care. They consider them to be disabled after a certain weight. It's like unbelievable. There's a whole TLC series about some poor Indian doctor that goes around telling these people, you're too fat. You must go on a diet.
Difficult financial straits. And they'll be forced to pass those costs on to consumers, onto Maine people.
Yes, she's the one who allowed all of this to get cut off, Adam. That's exactly right. She's the one who challenged Trump and invited all of this when she could have simply obeyed the law.
I didn't mention Congress's failure to extend the enhanced ACA subsidies, which has already caused 8,500 people in Maine to abandon their health insurance altogether and driving up the cost for tens of thousands.
I grew up without health insurance, Jan, and I managed to make it through. My parents found a way to make sure that I got all the shots I needed, dear. Well, there's Billy Bob.
Can't afford to pay their premiums.
No, really, that's his name. I'm not trying to make fun of him. That's his name.
One man from Cumberland told us that if his premiums increase as he expects, health insurance will be the single largest expense for his whole family, more than his mortgage. A grandmother from York who's raising her two.
See, they don't understand that cost is because of all the shirking done by the public funding. The hospitals have to run and they have to get that money from somewhere, which drives private insurance through the roof.
It's wrong. And I want to be clear. People will die because of this.
Oh, people will die.
Even the ACA
Thanks, Jan.
has become such a political football.
She should have came out dressed like
It's
Thanos.
a Band-Aid on the whole problem of healthcare in America. And what healthcare really needs in this country right now is not a series of Band-Aids. It needs major surgery. Each individual state.
You've had 8 years, Jan.
Well,
What have you done?
She should address the fraud that's happening in the state through the healthcare system. Steve has actually objectively proven it from top to bottom how much they're funneling money. It's so bad.
Ron, I don't know if you caught this interview or not, but Steve Robinson over there at the Maine Wire, he used the Grok AI from Elon Musk to build a computer program that analyzed 85,000 pages of medical documents and highlighted every audit fraud flag that was available from the government's own data, meaning they knew that the fraud was happening because it existed in their own documentation, but they buried it in 85,000 pages. So he built a program that found all of it.
Right.
It took him 15 hours. Amazing.
Care head on, and nothing short of universal health care is acceptable.
Health care, what system are we under right now?
Right. It feels very socialist that we're under right now. It does not feel private. It doesn't even feel like it's innovating anymore. It's just trying to keep people alive, not help, not heal them.
I think we call it Obamacare, don't we?
Yeah, that's the Obamacare. Yep. We're trapped under that. Yep. The Affordable Care Act, as Jan and her friends like to call it.
Oh, you bet it is, Jim. It's the state of the state because everybody in this room has to deal with health care. You can't be blind to that. And the cost on the states all across
They need to call her out
what's happening in
publicly.
Washington
Grow some
is
balls
bringing
and just call her
burdens
out
on
right
all of
now.
us to try to do the
I think that's what
human
happened.
right, keep people alive and keep people healthy. It's basic human rights. But listen.
She's an emotional manipulator. She's horrible.
People are going to die. It's basic human rights. It's the Geneva Convention. Yeah, they told Steve it didn't exist until he rammed it down their throats.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. He had to develop, like you said, he developed an app to do this.
Lastly, it is appropriate.
Now we
pause
understand how
for
the
a
Star
few
Wars
seconds on the
characters
moment
felt
we
when
find
Palpatine was talking about the Empire.
Yeah.
Doing so, I'm speaking to you now, not as a Democrat or even as your governor, but as a mother and a grandmother and a proud native of Maine.
We'll be a tearjerker here
and
now.
simply
Get
an
ready.
American citizen who, like you, deeply loves this nation and this state. But I worry about the future of our country
Yeah,
and
the
fate
fake
of
tears.
our democracy.
There it is.
I worry about the standing of our country in the eyes of the world and the standing of our country in the eyes of our own citizens. I believe we're at
The
a
majority of
dangerous moment
Americans
in our
want ICE to
history,
go harder.
a moment
That
where
came
the
out
very
yesterday.
idea
So
of America is in peril. Maine's U.S. Senator Margaret Sage Smith once told us that
her
the
lies
core
are
principles
obvious.
of Americanism were the right to criticize, the right to hold unpopular beliefs, the right to protest, the
Oh
right
my
to
God.
independent thought.
Here's a
Remember that
tearjerker.
time we were all
She
going to
was
get
right.
sick if we stood 6 feet
But today I
together,
see
too
a
close
nation
together?
where
But
our
they said
federal
BLM
government
riots are
uses its
fine.
immense
You're allowed
power
to scream and holler
to
at each other in the
intimidate,
face.
to
You won't get
punish,
COVID
to
so long as you're
silence
marching
those
for
who
Black
dare
Lives Matter.
criticize or
Yep.
question it. A federal government that has
Amazing.
deployed massed law enforcement onto the streets of America, including here in Maine, stoking fear in our communities, and
Oh my
killing American
gosh.
citizens in Minnesota, and arresting people not on public safety grounds, but based on quotas, on skin color, on accents, and religion and ethnic origin. A federal government that outright ignores the constitutional rights that are guaranteed to all of us, that undermines the rule of law, and even attacks the courts.
Is she talking about the Obama administration? Because that's what Obama did.
Be unconcerned by the federal government's abuses of today.
He went after the Tea
affecting our
Party. He got
state.
in trouble for instructing the
only ask
IRS
you
to
to
go
consider
after a
this.
Tea Party. What are you talking
What
about,
happens
Jan?
when the federal government finds you to be the problem tomorrow? This isn't partisan. This isn't about whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. This is not about whether you live in a blue state, a red state,
Amen
a
to
purple
that.
state, a city, a suburb,
Support
a farm, or a
ICE.
small rural town. It is about Margaret Chase Smith's principles of Americanism. It is about the very essence of America and the fundamental tenet that here, power comes from the people. Here, the rule of law reigns. Here, everyone is treated equally under the law, and here we have no kings.
We do have a queen, though. We do have a queen, and she tells you to wear a mask and get a shot or lose your job. We do have a queen. Just want to make it clear, we have a queen, not a king.
We have Angus and Angus Jr.
What was that, Ron?
We have Angus and Angus Jr.
That's true. We have those kings. Kings. And Mr. Stephen King, the king of
What will
horror.
our chapter of the American story be as our history is read to our children and grandchildren and to generations
They're getting
yet to
rowdy.
come? That choice is ours today. And I have hope, because when the dawn seems furthest away, one star hangs in the night sky whose light keeps us from stumbling in the darkness.
That's right, the
And that
International
North
Space
Star
Station.
will always help us find our way home.
We didn't vote for that
North
flag.
Star is the people of Maine.
Yeah, exactly. But it ended up on our license
Over the
plates.
past 7
Yeah,
years, I've
and
seen
everywhere
people
else.
run towards gunfire to
I hate
save
when
the
I search
lives of
Maine
children and
flag, that
Lewis.
stupid thing pops up now.
I've seen firefighters
Oh,
They're
rush
gonna
to the
they'll
aid
try to get
of
it
a
again.
town rocked by a
Gentlemen, we
deadly
have Miss Heather Sprague
gas
here.
explosion in
Hello,
Farmington.
Can you guys
welcome
hear me?
aboard.
Fire
Yeah,
and
Yes,
oh,
we can.
hell yeah.
howling seas.
Hey,
Welcome aboard.
Off the coast
How
of
you doing,
Maine.
Heather?
good. How are you?
I've seen
Good.
strangers
Hey.
on the streets of Dover, Fox,
So I left early. I'm in Waldoboro now.
and I know
I
National Guardsmen have
I don't know. I didn't feel like
patrolling
I
the streets and
should even
told
bother staying for. I didn't want to listen to that. She'd just up there lying her teeth off.
Yep, rewriting history live in front of everybody.
Yeah. Yep. But I did
Wait.
go up. I took a sign. The usual.
You have fans in the chat, Miss Sprague.
I do.
Very happy to see you.
Oh, well, hello, fans. I don't know if you can see me real good. I'm underneath a light in the parking lot in Irvin
Works
and
perfectly
Waldoboro.
fine. Nah, it works perfectly fine. That's
All right,
the
cool.
brilliance of modern technology.
Right?
We're happy to have you. It seems like the chamber is pretty split. We were remarking throughout this that everybody, one side of the chamber would stand up and clap, and the other side would just sort of wish they were dead, not there, you know?
Oh yeah. So you said the Republicans walked out. What do you mean by that?
There were like 3 of them that got up and walked out here about 10 minutes ago or so.
Yeah.
3.
What'd she say that she's supporting boys and girls sports?
She was using that under the guise of medical care for women because trans women are women, as you know, the whole,
Yeah.
you know.
It's just a continuous slap in the face for women, for the middle class, for the Maine taxpayer, for the elderly, the poor, veterans. It's a slap in the face for all of us. It's just disgusting.
Exactly. Yep. And she just goes on and on with what she's doing here. The tone has been strange. One minute she's ready, like, we're the passionate ones. Then she's into like, this is a bedtime story, everyone. And then back into like fire and brimstone.
I don't know.
Such a
It's
bizarre
bad.
night.
She mentioned at all that she's gonna run, run the government this year under another false emergency?
No, she was bragging about a surplus that came out of nowhere because I seem to remember us having 2 budget shortfalls in the last year alone.
Oh, I wonder where that came from.
Yeah, we were remarking it was like the Chinese gold she's importing in here, you know? That's where she's getting her money from.
Wow. A surplus. She's going to pass the budget without the Republicans again. It's just a repeat of what she's been doing the whole time she's been in power. It's disgusting, you guys.
What we're lucky to have now is the ability to connect with one another and get this message out. Let people know that the truth is out there, that it's not all doom and gloom, defeat, and it's over. That you can have a red wave in Maine, but you have to knuckle down and really get people on board with it. We can't just sell them on lower taxes. We have to have a vision for how to fix this state beyond Jan's reign.
We need fighters.
Yeah.
We
got to have that, but we got to get out and get the low propensity Republicans to vote. The ones that only go vote for Trump and leave everybody blank.
Yeah.
You know, I was in a Zoom last night and that information was brought up, and the number of low propensity Republicans who don't engage or vote in every county is astronomical.
Right.
It's really bad. So that's got to be our goal.
The chat is agreeing with you, and they're saying it's disgusting. They're right along with you on that, Heather, that they feel the same. This is a mess.
I mean, you got to live under a rock and not be connected to the TV, to the social media or the internet to not know what's going on. You've got to purposely be blind to it because it's everywhere. So
right.
I don't know.
And that's the thing, is that the bubble that we were discussing earlier, we had the chat ask, like, why do people clap for her? And it's because of the bubble. The bubble is law to the Democrats. They refuse to engage with ideas outside of them because anyone outside of that bubble is evil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they viewed me as evil because they had to read my sign when they walked in. I'll read it to you.
Oh, yeah?
I wrote a big sign that says, hypocrisy is the audacity to preach integrity from a den of corruption. And that's exactly what she's doing.
Yep, that's it. That's it. The room is definitely split. Let's put it that way. You've got people who are sycophants that'll clap for her because she's party line. You got people in there that are just sick and tired of it too. So
yep. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it can just be. It can keep going. I mean, I do. There's nobody to go to for accountability. They've got, they've captured every department, every office that could hold them accountable. It was by design. The only people that can hold them accountable is the federal government at this point.
Are we facing civil strife?
I didn't see it. There's about 4 protesters there tonight, including me, and one old guy, maybe 5. A lot of people came, but they stayed down in the Hall of Flags praying.
Yeah.
Which is fine. We gotta pray, but we gotta make our voices heard too. They're just bulldozing us.
We have the Republican response, so we'll give that a pause right here while we're.
Our Mainers are looking for a leader. That's the issue.
Yeah.
All of them. They're looking for a leader.
Yep.
I don't know. Good response.
Yeah, we will. I just paused it here, but we'll
So
jump
who's
in on
giving
it.
it?
I think it's probably Billy Bob. He's the leader of the Senate minority, right? Wouldn't he have the? We'll
He's in
see.
the House. I thought Billy Bob
Yep,
was in the
there's
House.
Billy Bob.
I'm House Republican leader Billy Bob Fockingham of Winter Harbor. It's from the perspective of a husband, father of 3, and tax-paying, bill-paying Mainer that I deliver tonight's response. Tonight, the governor delivered her State of the State address. But the real state of Maine isn't found in prepared remarks. It's felt at the kitchen table, at the gas pump, and when the electric bill arrives.
Yeah.
Maine people are hurting. We face some of the largest electric cost increases in the nation, some of the highest taxes, and a cost of living that keeps rising while wages fall behind. People are doing everything right, working hard, playing by the rules, and still falling further behind. That is not the main promise. Our greatest exports should be lobsters, blueberries, potatoes, and lumber, not our young people. Yet too many are leaving because they can't afford to stay, can't find opportunity, or don't see a future here. After 8 years of one-party Democratic leadership, the results are clear. Out-of-state corporations are thriving. Solar scammers are cashing in. Meanwhile, Maine's traditional industries, fishing, forestry, farming, and manufacturing are struggling to survive. That's not progress, that's neglect. Our healthcare system is in crisis, especially in rural Maine. Hospitals are operating in the red. Services are being cut. Access to care is shrinking. Families are left wondering where they'll go in an emergency. At the same time, we've seen widespread welfare fraud and abuse, particularly in the Maine care system. Fraudsters have targeted it, and what we know today may only be the beginning. That's taxpayer money,
Yeah,
meant to
he's
help
right.
vulnerable people, money that comes from families already stretched thin. This administration has turned its back on Maine's girls, telling them they don't deserve a level playing field in sports or privacy in their spaces. We reject that. Every child deserves fairness. Every girl deserves an opportunity. Despite soaring energy costs, crushing taxes, and a rising cost of living, Mainers are being told the state still wants more taxes, more fees, more regulation. Businesses hear that message clearly. And then we ask why they don't come or why they leave. Who can survive high taxes, high energy costs, and endless regulation? The truth is, the state is poor, but the people of Maine are strong. They've endured, they've adapted, they've survived.
Unfortunately, we have
It's hard
adapted.
to live, work, or raise a family in the state we love. Maine is the most beautiful state in the country. We have abundant natural resources, skilled workers, and proud communities. Under the right leadership, we can also be one of the most prosperous states in America. I believe Mainers are ready for a new direction. One where hard work is rewarded, where merit matters, where businesses are welcomed, not punished, and where jobs are created here because companies can afford to stay. Maine can do better. Maine must do better. And together, I believe we will.
I'm Senator Trey Stewart from Aroostook County, and I'm honored to serve as the Republican leader in the Maine Senate. Maine isn't complicated. We believe in right and wrong.
Yeah.
You work hard, you tell the truth, and you take responsibility, especially if you're in charge. Tonight, we have to be honest. That's no longer the case. After nearly 8
Captain
years
isn't
of
at the
one-party
wheel.
control, Maine finds itself dealing with fraud, deception, and decay.
Yeah.
Taxes are rising, fees are piling up, families are paying more for everyday life while government keeps asking for more, even now forcing us to pay new taxes on things like streaming services. At the same time, our education system has fallen from where it once stood near the top nationally to rankings that should concern every parent in this state.
Bingo.
And fraud that was once isolated has become widespread, accepted,
Become
explained away,
normalized.
and too often ignored.
Yeah.
This did not happen by accident. We got here for one reason and one reason only: failed leadership. a failure to protect
Corrupt
taxpayers,
leadership.
a failure to protect
Yeah.
our kids, and a failure to protect basic accountability and public trust. The governor and I agree on one thing. Maine people are struggling. Where we disagree is on why and what comes next. Republicans believe Mainers aren't struggling because government is too small or taxes are too low.
Right.
They're struggling because government lost sight of its role and its responsibility.
I'd say so.
That's why legislative Republicans are fighting for real, common sense tax relief. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and a higher standard deduction so families can keep more of what they earn.
No tax on
These
Social
reforms
Security.
reward work, respect effort, and give people breathing room again. Yet, we're told the state can't afford this, while there never seems to be a shortage of money for new programs, new bureaucracies, and new government initiatives.
And new Mainers.
There's always money to grow
Above
government,
all.
but never enough to give relief to the people paying the bills. That's not a budget problem. That's a priorities problem.
An
We also
honesty
hear a
problem, if
lot
we get
about
down to it.
increased state spending on education and revenue sharing with towns, programs that were meant to lower property taxes. Yet Maine still ranks among the highest property tax states in the nation, while education outcomes continue to slide.
Just said Waldo's got to
Money
go up
isn't the
57%
problem.
on theirs.
Leadership is. The same is true with MaineCare. As serious allegations of fraud continue to surface, Republicans believe accountability is not optional.
Right.
He's got to fight
Every
harder.
dollar
He's got to
lost to
speak harder.
fraud is a dollar taken from a child, a senior, or a person with disabilities who truly depends on that program. Protecting taxpayers and protecting the vulnerable go hand in hand. But here's the most important point tonight. This can change.
Yeah.
Maine has faced hard moments before, and we've met them with responsibility and resolve. More than a century ago, Maine leader Joshua Chamberlain reminded us of what real leadership looks like when he said, quote, "The power of ideas is in the example they set."
Yeah.
Leadership
Fixed
matters
bayonets, he
because
said
examples matter. And Maine deserves better examples from those in charge. We can choose a different path, one that restores trust, rewards work, protects the vulnerable, and lives within its means.
Yes.
Republicans are ready to lead with clarity, accountability, and common sense.
Hopefully a little more fire.
Maine's best days
A little
are
more
not
fire.
behind us.
A little more
But
fire.
getting back there requires leadership willing to tell the truth and strong enough to act on it. Again, I'm Senator Trey Stewart of Aroostook County, and I thank you for joining me tonight. God bless our great state and our great nation.
More fire. We need more fire than that. You're not going to win anyone over with that.
Not really.
That was the
Was that
Republican
broadcast on the TV?
Yeah.
Yes, that was Maine Public. Yep.
That was the official speech from the Republicans.
response to Governor
They
Mills'
interviewed me tonight.
State of the State address.
Maine Public did.
We didn't have it come up yet.
I don't know. It weren't on camera.
It's now back to the analysts. They're going to analyze.
Yeah.
We're fighting a war. We're fighting a war. You can't just be like, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
We have to fight harder. More fire. Has to be aggressive. Has to call them out. It's bullshit. It's not enough.
You know,
we need fighters, not builders.
That's right. And from what I've seen in my 6 years trying to fight my way into the GOP, because I saw where the problem was. It's in the state house, and the entering the GOP is through that, and you're on as candidate, blah blah blah. Where the Republicans are too worried about their image, you know, being polished and in what you say, and we need the average everyday people, the hardworking people, to represent us. I mean,
a lot of what goes into this, though, as you know, when we run and things like that, there's a lot of inside pool that says, hey, you've got to be smooth. You've got to be no rough edges. You got to not say this thing or that thing. And it creates a paranoia effect for a lot of candidates. And thankfully, we have Colonel Russell out here who's fearless and goes out there and addresses the problems head on, makes sure that it's clear about what the problem is, not getting lost in the weeds about trying to explain, well, there's this person here and that person there. We have Colonel Russell just making the hammer slam right down on the mistakes that Shelley's made, the just complete mess that she's left the state in at the federal level on our behalf. And thankfully, we have him out here running again for office to set those mistakes right.
That's right. And make no mistake, we can do what we need to do and say what we need to say and be classy about it. But it's so guarded and it's
changing though. It is changing. It is.
I hope
slowly.
so.
No, you can feel it. The candidates now are saying things that would have actually had the entire party ostracize them for.
Yeah, true.
It is. It's changing. The Republicans are finally realizing they're fighting a war against an enemy rather than trying to negotiate with someone in the same community. It's changed.
Yeah.
Well,
are we going to win? Are we going to win? I don't know about that. But has it changed? Yeah.
We do have people in the chat here. We have Jonathan Christie saying, and Maine Democrats make it hard for me to get hired at a job because they don't care and they only care about themselves. They're right. They're only hiring their own.
Yeah.
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 Hey, Jonathan.
And we're glad to have him. We have WEMIC God here. Wemic God saying, can you tell Heather I said hi? Hi. On behalf of
hi, Liam. Hi, Liam.
Now, Ron, where you're headed to the federal level on this stuff, what did you think of this State of the State address? Is there going to be a problem going into the federal government with the state acting this way?
Yes, I've said it many times on the campaign trail, and the state candidates have said the exact same thing. We have to win the legislature and the Senate and the governorship. If we don't do that, that neuters me in Washington, D.C. And the same, if the gubernatorial candidates would tell you, if we don't win the Senate and the legislature, they're going to be powerless if they win the governorship. So it's got to be the full Monty here across the board. We have to maintain what we have in Congress here right now with a majority in the Senate and the House and the presidency. And we have to do the exact same thing in Maine, from my perspective. That doesn't, you've heard me say this already tonight, that doesn't mean that we exclude the Democrats from government. We work with them because they've got some good ideas here as well, and we incorporate those ideas into the solutions that are going to make the nation and the state a better place to be.
Like one. Name one.
Yeah.
Name one? Well, that's now you're really putting me on the spot.
Yeah, I will. I will.
I'll say what I said the other night. I was talking to a group of Republicans, and I said I'm always hesitant to say that I'm going to work across the aisle, okay? Because you're going to think that I'm wishy-washy here. The good news is the policies of the Republicans are so much better. Now, what I can do is I can show you, to give you many examples of where Republican policies are far much better than Democrat policies. We talk about 80-20 issues. The Democrats are doubling down on the 20% issues. That's just as phony as a football bat. We got to do better than that. So I don't have any problem telling Republicans I'm going to work across the aisle because I think the Republicans have the preponderance of great ideas.
Name one issue that Democrats are proposing that you would support.
Well, I'll go back years ago. Do you remember the Gang of Eight under President Obama?
Yes.
How about something more recent?
Yeah.
I'm going to put your feet to the fire. I do it to everyone. It's just the way I work.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head.
They don't say it.
Have you? I just wanted to say I found out today through the Maine Policy Institute that Thursday there's a public hearing for a bill that will limit access to public places, and it goes further than that. Typical Democrat bill. It's LD 2150. You have got to look it up. And I was going to stay after and question Representative Rachel Henderson about it because she's a sponsor. It's pretty tyrannical. But I have a question for you, Ron. How do you feel about Shelley using taxpayer money to go out to Minnesota and support a seditious insurrection?
Well, that's not good. But that's
No.
not what she's doing. She's out there fact finding, Heather, on your behalf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, how many Republicans were on that foray out to Minnesota?
None.
Actually, they've been Republicans have been organizing behind the scenes, infiltrating the actual far left sedition that's happening throughout our country, and
Yeah,
working with people like Nick Shirley.
I'm saying that was we in the military we'd call that a boondoggle. 20, how many did they have out there? 32, I think. Democrats went out there to support the governor and the mayor. What's happening right now? Who else is out there? Okay, now Tom Homan is out there talking to the mayor and the governor, and President Trump talked to the governor yesterday. And
Yeah, but Trump sent Homan out there. We didn't send Shelley Pingree out there to support attacking ICE.
I'm saying Homan is out there to negotiate with the governor and the mayor, and his position is pretty straight. It's what I have said yesterday or the day before when I tweeted. If we want violence to stop, start getting better coordination and cooperation between local, state, and federal law enforcement. Every major catastrophe that this nation has gone through in the last 20 years, when you do an after-action review, the main comment is poor coordination between state, local, and federal agencies and law enforcement.
They were caught. They were caught working directly with the far left activists.
Yeah, on Signal.
You're talking
which is
about
RICO.
State and federal authorities, right? So the governor said, or the mayor said, I guess actually it was Janet Mills. I think she said she had reached out to the federal government to find out how many ICE agents are coming here. That's not cooperation or coordination. That is trying to stick a finger in someone's eye. What we need to,
yeah.
what
And
we
most
need
of our cities have already said that they passed legislation or whatever, not legislation, but policies that stop the local police from working with ICE.
Right. And again, that's flies in the face of all the lessons we've learned in the last, well, history, I would say. It's just good common sense. If you, now I used the example in a tweet, the officer the corrections officer who was arrested, okay? If you were coordinating between local law enforcement, state police, and federal law enforcement, wouldn't it become clear that the state authorities had done their due diligence and found out that this individual wasn't what the federal authorities thought, or the federal authorities had some information that the state and the local authorities didn't have that would cause them to nod their head and say, yes, that guy needs to go to jail right now. Let us help. That's what's missing here. And when we start working together to one end, get criminals off of the street, and law enforcement at the state and local level want to do the exact same thing. They don't want these Jewish.
Right. I just don't. I don't see them working with us. So
I'm
there are some.
I'm going to filter. Ron, what can you speak on critical gender ideology or decolonization directives?
Critical gender ideology or
decolonization initiatives or directives. Do you know anything about any of this?
Well, I know about gender identity. And,
can you explain it? And this is if you can explain it, this puts me a little bit more further to support you.
Yeah, well, gender identity is pretty simple there. That's identifying as a different sex than what you were born as. So a man who thinks he's a woman, he identifies as a woman. That doesn't trump sex. Sex is biological, and there are two of them, male and female. The fact that you think that you are a female when you're a male doesn't change anything from my perspective. If you asked 1,000 people in Maine, is it okay for a man to go into a woman's bathroom? I still like to think 1,000 people would say no. And
You're right.
I would ask them, well, what about a person who is equipped as a man but thinks he's a woman going into a women's bathroom? I think I'd like the number to be the same, but I don't think that it is, because some people think that gender identity, there's something to that. There's nothing to that from my perspective. Now, someone who feels like feels like they are a woman and stuck in a man's body, that's all fine and dandy. But you don't put the rest of the women who actually are women at risk, in jeopardy, their privacy violated because of gender identity. It just doesn't work that way. I would also tell you, if any dad that I know of standing outside his daughter's locker room and a gentleman tries to get in there, they're going to do what they can to stop him. Okay?
That was a good answer. That was a very impressive answer. Thank you.
Under Maine law, if he physically stops this individual, he's the guilty one, unfortunately. So that's why we have to change Maine law.
Thank you. I appreciate that answer, actually. Thank you. You have no idea how many Republicans don't even know how to answer that, and you hit it right on you hit the nail on the head. That was good.
There's only two genders. That's how I answer that.
Not rocket science, is it? It's pretty simple.
Thank you, Ron. That was good.
Is decolonization even a word, or is that a made-up leftist tactic?
No, so decolonization is, you know how like when York County and a lot of other school boards will actually do like stolen land recognition claims?
Yep.
So when they're setting up the frame that America is stolen land, and decolonization initiatives is actually giving back the land to anyone, whether they're from Mexico. So Canada actually just had a situation where they use decolonization directives to take a bunch of land, a huge part of land that people had their homes on, and give them to actually the natives. And you can look it up. It just happened recently. So decolonization initiatives is actually being pushed by the enemies of America to demoralize the actual people that exist in the country, and to question and become nihilistic about the heritage of their country.
Right. So, well, that's why I asked if it was even a word, because it's not even it shouldn't even be a thing.
Just Google it, decolonization directives or initiatives. You're going to find.
Oh, I believe you. I was just wondering if.
So,
my question: how far back do we go?
Well, exactly. Decolonization initiatives actually get spread out between the Americas, and this is a neutral take. I'm not going to jump on this, but Israel, UK, when it comes to like India, and lots of other countries. So decolonization initiatives and dismantling whiteness actually stems from a Marxist in the 50s that traveled to China to work with the CCP to figure out a way to actually subvert America in the West, not just America. And decolonization initiatives is being now taught in Latin America, South America, all throughout Africa. And decolonization initiatives is being executed in like South Africa. They specifically say decolonization is actually expropriation of land from white South Africans. And you're seeing now that, so a lot of these people that are being taught this are actually joining the side of the enemies of America. That's why they fly the Palestine flag. whether you believe it, have a support. This is where it gets murky. People get caught up
Right.
with the Israel and Palestine thing. It doesn't even matter at that point. They're using all these things. They fly all the flags. So like Mexico has a claim. The Hispanics in Mexico have a claim over parts of California and Texas. They've had massive rallies regarding this that the media won't cover, where they say this is stolen land and we deserve it back. It's all part of almost moral authority to reclaim certain land within the Americas.
Right. So those examples that you've
But
given,
who are
those
like
examples
who
that
gives
you
it back though?
are
Sorry,
modern
Ron.
history. I mean, look at the Ottoman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire. You just look at the history of the modern world as we know it. But we think that folks came across the Bering Strait from
Siberia?
into Alaska from
Yes.
Siberia. So, it goes back. I was reading today, they've discovered tools way earlier, that time or dated way earlier than what they had ever thought where someone used tools. So this will continue to go back ad nauseum. I mean, it's we can't make sense of it, because if we stop what the British did in Pakistan, India, modern day India, and the Dutch Indies and all the rest of that, there are civilizations and colonization that occurred way before then. So
Do you think strategically we should actually connect with a lot of the Native Americans to join the right-wing movement? And I don't see why we don't. I don't see why we don't. Like, why are we not actually connected?
Because we don't have nothing to give them.
We do. We do. I think we do.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know, but I think we do. Because this is beyond just a normal. Do. Yeah, we absolutely do. I think a lot of Native Americans actually, and you can see it, a lot of them, they're silenced, and you have some radical Native Americans, but you have Native Americans that are like, I actually support the ideology of looking at the individual and recognizing the past. I think there's a strategy that to go beyond that. They're trying to capture the Wabanaki tribe, and we should actually infiltrate that and actually pull people away from it.
She did bring them up. That's right.
Of course she did.
So to the point of this, though, about who we give the land back to, the thing is that
I've been trying to.
Dinesh D'Souza did a documentary about this.
That's why I brought it up, Heather. I know you have.
And so he is. There's no way to really trace back who gets this, because the Sioux conquered the Navajo, the Apaches wiped everybody out. They were so vicious. We named a killer helicopter after them. So this whole concept of like, we got to return the land. Well, to who? The Penobscot, the Passamaquoddy, all of the Maine tribes had problems with each other.
Yeah.
This is well documented.
And that's a slap in the face for them, actually.
And that's another thing, is that who then is Jan, a white woman, going to step through and start deciding who these native people get their land from? No. So
these tribes need to look at how the Democrat Party has treated the illegals and realize that they use them just like they use the illegal population. Seriously. Stop being special. It's because they could use them for fraud and to stay in power.
The argument from the Democrats is no one's illegal on stolen land, so we're going to flood your country with foreigners.
Right.
There's no way that Native Americans want to have their land flooded with foreigners already, even further. And so, like, the right is too afraid to actually go and have an olive branch and say, "Listen, we recognize past grievances. What would work for you? What would work for us? Let's do this together." Our ideology is actually looking at the individual. We respect that. We respect your nation, and we've always honored what you do. Let's join forces.
To be completely honest, it's not that even that hard. You just go in and say, hey, we're not going to let the reservations continue to rot. You need to be able to live here and not be sealed away to wither away. We need to make sure that you have a pathway to stay here and celebrate yourselves
100%.
as this was designed.
100%.
And they'll be on board because the Democrats don't do that.
Yeah.
They don't do that at all. They're like, no, we need to pull more money from the reservation. We need to pull more money out of this. We need to make sure that we're just not hands-on at all. And it's falling apart. Ask anybody who lives on a reservation. They'll tell you it is withering to nothing.
We can't take the stance of being anti-Native American, and we have to reach out to them. 100%.
Heather's connection is dropping in and out here. Probably going through one of those infamous dark spots out there in Maine. And Ron, at the federal level, the same argument keeps coming up about what we're supposed to do about this populace. That we need to understand what conquest is. This is what happened. In fact, the USA is so unique. We, unlike most other nations, even the Canadians, didn't try to reprogram the Native Americans. We gave them their land to exist and have their culture on. There are places in Europe that wiped out whole peoples. The Mongols in China killed 10% of the world's population. This is not some barbaric thing that we've done. We've actually done more to help the culture that was conquered stay alive.
Yeah, a great topic for another session there.
Yes.
I don't know that Native Americans would think that the land that we have given them is, I would say a lot of them would say they got moved off of their land and into a whole lot less hospitable land. But
Why
again,
don't we give them Democrat land? Give them Democrat-controlled land. So why not? If we're going to fight fire with fire, why don't we go there and say, listen, get us in power, we will give you land, and we start stripping away fucking Democrat land. Give them some
solar power panels ripped up.
Yeah. Why not? Our side is not anti-Native American. We can't be pushed into that position. And that's what Janet Mills tried to do tonight.
So why do we have reservations still?
Exactly.
The point of them, what's that?
I was just going to say, if that is their land and they're happy with it, that's all fine and dandy, but we need to assimilate them into America, I would say, and figure out a way to do that. But they may not want to do that. I don't know. This is all a very complicated subject there. It's like reparations.
Yeah.
So
Reagan took care of that. The reparations should not be a thing. Reagan signed an official apology. There's nothing left to be talked about anymore. The country officially acknowledged it was wrong. We signed a document. There's no more abuse going on. It's outrageous to continue this conversation.
Are you talking about with Native Americans?
Oh no, with these families of slaves, Reagan signed a document acknowledging that slavery was bad. I mean, it's obviously it is, but we have an official document. There's no reason to pursue that anymore. Look, we have President Obama who ran for office. It defeats the idea that Black people are held down systematically. That completely obliterates that concept.
But it continues to be discussed, though.
Exactly.
So what my point is, my great-great-grandfather was killed at Gettysburg. Okay. Do I get reparations for that?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
Like I say, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy there, or never-ending prophecy or problem. You can take it back to the beginning of time, and someone will have been aggrieved that will want to be
Cain and Abel.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So
that's where it's a tale as old as time, and it's always the case of someone pointing the finger and say, hey, you, I'm going to bully you until you give me what I want. And that's just the cycle. It just changed up the script on us. But we have been going for close to 2.5 hours now, gentlemen, and we have covered the State of the Union. Miss Heather came through here. Heather Sprague came through. I'm sorry, I had my head for a moment there. Miss Heather Sprague came through. And I want to make sure we're not going to wear everybody down here tonight so that they can't perform tomorrow with the duties they've got going on. I know we've all got actual jobs to take care of, and Colonel Russell has Shelley Pingree to square up on here and replace. We look forward to seeing a good, strong Republican in office.
Does Ron have a Facebook page that I can share on the Maine X community?
Yep. If you just search Ron Russell for Congress,
Okay.
it pops up. Yep.
Okay.
There's a donate button on there too.
All right. We'll put that out there. I had a couple hot button questions, and you did awesome. I like Ron. Ron's not as bombastic as us. We're from different generations, but there's a lot from our generation to learn from his generation. I've learned that. Yeah, I've learned that.
Across the board.
Across the board.
Both ways.
We're
Well,
fighting the
gentlemen.
same fight.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate your time tonight, and I thank you very much for being here and opening up yourselves to this commentary and the chat, as well as making sure that Janet Mills enjoys her just desserts for a job well done here in Maine at cooking us anyway. We're thoroughly burned through and back. So, as always, ladies and gentlemen out in the chat, good luck out there.